misunderstand. Intra means within the person, inter means within two persons. Okay, I will tell you the next topic about the interpersonal communication. Is it clear? Intrapersonal communication. Can you tell anyone any example about intrapersonal communication? Respond. Someone have to speak. Then only I know whether my voice is good. Otherwise, the screen sharing is good. Without knowing, I could not go forward. Right? I will either you do it message also. Chat room is there. You do chat it. Okay. May I know who all these from the which center? From Anusha from which center? Which study center?
Sir.
Yes, okay. Within ourselves, not yourself, within ourselves. Right. Next. Only image which is appearing on the screen, the image is showing what is interpersonal communication clearly. Sometimes we know communication is a process of sending a message to via channel to receiver. Okay, here is a messenger, sender and receiver are the same. Next, interpersonal communication. Already we learned about the limitations also. Limitations means what our message should not go to the others. Next, interpersonal communication. The characteristics of interpersonal communication is here. Again, you just see one image is appearing on the screen. One person who is speaking in the in the speaker. The other person is listening. This is a one-way communication of interpersonal communication. Okay, and the other one, second one is which is the one person is on computer typing and another person is on another side. She is also typing or some seeing. What it is appearing here? The person is typing some messages. Maybe it is looks like an email, and the other person receiving the mail, and she is also typing some message. So this is a two-way communication process. Another image, each of them are speaking in an open. So this is also two-way communication. These are the examples for interpersonal communication. Interpersonal means between the persons. When we communicate with other people in a face-to-face situation, or it is this is called interpersonal communication. More than the number of persons involved in a interpersonal communication, it is a one-to-one relation that is crucial. See, in a classroom, teacher is a single person. He speaks to many of students, one-to-one. In case of a two persons, for example, in the family, mother and father is speaking each other. So that is a one-to-one communication. Again, in the classroom, the teacher speaks with us delivering a lecture to the students. Here it is a one-to-many persons. And for one-to-many persons, another example for example, print media, newspaper. Newspaper is publishing by the one organization, but it is circulating the period. Means, for example, Telugu newspaper, it is circulates in the Telugu states and neighbor states. For example, English newspaper, it is circulates in the all over India. Of Telugu or English origin, Indian origin newspaper. For example, a newspaper from London, or there is New York, for example, Times, the newspaper. This newspaper circulates all over the India. Here, one to many people reaching via channel. Newspaper also one of the channel of communication. Clear? On and off response from the students is required. Yes. Next, advantages. What are the advantages for the interpersonal communication? It is the highest and most perfect form of communication that two persons can attain. Another advantage is it is more persuasive and influential than any other type of communication, such as group communication or mass communication. See, some product we have to buy in the classroom or between the friends, two friends. One who bought a new modern watch or a mobile phone that influence the other to buy the same kind of featured phone. So more influence is brought by the interpersonal communication. Okay, it involves the interplay of words and gestures, the warmth of human closeness, and all the five senses. Five senses means, you know, what are the five senses? Touching, smelling, like hearing. These are the five senses. It will come in the next lesson. Okay. So interpersonal, these are the advantages for the interpersonal communication. Next, limitations. Already we have known the limitations of intrapersonal communication. Again, here also some limitations for interpersonal communication. The main interpersonal communication limitations are when you communicate something bad, it cannot be taken back. If one-to-one scold each other, it cannot be taken back. Even though once one message is delivered to the air, could not taken back. But even though, for example, a mistake is appeared in the newspaper, next day there is a correctum, some regression that brings that there is a mistake is appeared in the newspaper of yesterday, and we are the correct word, correct name, correct point is this is like we will see in the newspaper. But in interpersonal communication, the communication, something bad, it cannot be taken back. For example, scolding, slapping, bad gestures are the examples for intercommunication. Another limitation is you cannot hide your bad mood because we are appearing each other. Tend to express it in some way with or without your knowledge. So we take care that our mind is always in a good mood. When we are in interpersonal communication. Here is only two ways. Sender sends a message, receiver receives the message, and receiver also gives some feedback to the sender. This is the communication process going in the interpersonal communication. Clear? Any doubts? When people react according to the situation, the forced two characteristics will change accordingly. Psychological and social, cultural relationship, and many of these elements figure in the change. If our mood is good only, we will deliver in a good message. Okay? Right. Next one is Can you say any examples for interpersonal communication? Even you can do chat also. No one responding. This is a counseling class. Counseling class means you have to raise your doubts and interactive session. This is an interactive session. You have to speak. You have to ask any questions related to our topic. Then the public speaker is a actually normal only. Everyone, no, here is a public speaker. Speaker means, okay, this is also one of the example for the interpersonal communication. Interpersonal only, one to one only. Inter means only two persons is here. Group communication comes under the public speaker. Otherwise, mass communication also comes under the public speaker is under the mass communication or a group communication. Right. Next, group communication. What is group? Group means a members of a team, a members of a committee, a members of a board, a members of a task force is a called group. Clear? First, we have to know what is group. Many groups, family groups, WhatsApp groups, friends groups, classmates groups. Not only four here I have mentioned. Any more than two persons are called a group. Only two persons called interpersonal communication. More than two people together is communicating something is called a group communication. Okay? Group communication says all the characteristics, though in a much less measure. For example, I have to speak with individual, like I have to speak with Anusha, I have to speak with Lakshmi. I could not deliver my lecture to the Anusha in a single one-to-one person, and to Lakshmi one-to-one person, to Seema one-to-one person, to SK one-to person. So that is why here I am in the Zoom meeting. I am delivering my lecture to all your classmates. Here is in the classroom, Anusha, Lakshmi, Seema, and SK, and Sai Kiran. These are in the classroom. So you are all the one of the group. I am giving my lecture to all to you. Here is there is also many kinds of groups. For example, sometimes a board meeting. Anyway, the leader or a chairman. For committees, there is a chairperson. For a board, chairman of the board of members. Team, leader of the team. Task force also is the officer. Officer says something to the or sharing there is message to other team members. Here I am sharing my lecture with my students. Okay. Every communication has some advantages. Here is the major advantages. Yeah, of course, group communication same as group discussion. That is also one of the kind of communication only. But what is the difference between group communication and group discussion is, in the group discussion, only the team members ask one person, means the attending, who asks the questions and who is attending for that group discussion, he have to answer or she have to answer. That is the difference. Group communication means the members of the team who all exchange their messages and they get feedback immediately. That is the main advantage of the group communication. Feedback in a group communication comes in immediately. If a leader of the team who are telling some important point, he is expecting some feedback from the members. It is possible with a group communication only, because all the members are presenting in the board in the room. They are expressing their opinions on the point. Okay. Group means freely interacting people having common identity or characteristics. Members of small groups are interdependent, achieving influence on other members. Group members have a strong influencing on the other members. Small groups take any of the following forms like team, committee, bargaining agent, board, task force, etc. Now, come to the advantages. Here I'm mentioning some advantages of group communication. One image is here showing that a group of people discussing on one point or one agenda. Agenda means what they have to discuss in the meeting. That is called agenda. Advantages of small groups include shared decisions making, resources, synergy, and exposure to diversity. And it is within a small groups that most of the decisions that guide our country, introduce local laws, and influence of our family interactions are made. See, for example, members in the family members, the head of the family, for example, a fourth member of a family in the house, the head of the family have to plan to go a tourism place. It is easy to convey and the feedback also comes easily, and opinions, feedback, everything comes. This is a small group. In case of a big group, means a board of members of a company. There is a number of board of members in that board, maybe 10 members or 15 members. A point of a team leader who takes a decision. It is conveyed in the meeting and he expects reviews, otherwise opinions, feedback from the members. In case of large members in the board, the result may not come as easily as possible and as fast as possible. So that is why small groups takes decisions fastly and a large groups takes times to take decisions. Okay, next. Limitations. Already we have discussed the other two types of communication and the limitations of those two types of communication. Again, come to here. What are the limitations in the group communication? In some cases, one person can be just as or more effective than a group of people. Here is a one person. Who is the one person? Reply from you, expecting feedback from you. Who is the one person? Sometimes maybe the team leader of a team, or a chairperson of a committee, chairman of the board of members, or officer in charge of the task force, like, means he is the influencer. He gives some decisions and asks the members to accept it. Many cases, it is happens. Once chairman taken a decision, the other members may accept it. So here, the message, which is a maybe good or a bad, but others may accept it. Other people, other members may accept it. The second limitation is, think about a situation in which a highly specialized skill or a knowledge is needed to get something done. The third one, in this situation, one very knowledgeable person is probably better fit for the task than a group of less knowledgeable persons, people. Is it clear? Always, obviously, we know it in the group. Some may active, some may not be active. They accept whatever the decision taken by the one or two or people, either chairman or the leading persons in the group. They accept it automatically. They have not much knowledge. But if some message, some decision taken by the chairman should not be alone himself, don't take any decision. So you have to put the decision in the meeting. Let the others may accept it, may not, but the chairman influences to accept all other members for that resolution or that decision. Here is a very clear that in a team members, there is some persons were knowledgeable and some persons were not much knowledge in that field. But a group is a person more than three or four, more than three are all a group. There, what happens? There is a person who knows much knowledge about the topics which are discussing in the group, in the meeting, and some may, the other person, they don't know, they have not much knowledge on that topic or a point. Even though they comes to the meeting and they accept the resolution which is passed by the leader or the chairperson. That is one limit, because maybe sometimes the message is a good or a not, even though others, majority, if accept that message, the others also accept automatically the resolution is unanimously pass the resolution, unanimously accept the decision. So that is one of the limits. Maybe someone in the group, some members don't like it, but even though majority accept the point, they maybe accept it. That is the limitation. Okay, Sakiran, may it is clear to you. Next one is mass communication. We came here our main subject title. What are the characteristics of mass communication? Examples, day-to-day life, we are using many channels for communication process. Can anyone say any mass communication channel? What are the mass communication? Newspaper is a mass communication. Television is a mass communication. Radio is a mass communication. Yes. So you have to say, someone speak out. Right. So television mainly, print media, audio visual media means television and radio and television. Then new media. Present day we are using computers, using computer-based communication process, means emails and mobile apps. All these comes under the new media or digital media. These are the main four major types of mass communication: print media, electronic media, and digital media or new media, social media. Whether now we are calling social media also. Right. The sender generally is a professional in the mass communication. For example, newspaper reporter who is a professional in reporting. The reporter knows how to report a meeting, what message how to give to his readers or otherwise our readers. The sender is a professional, how to write news, how to deliver his message, means not his own message, from he is getting message from the sources and passing through some channel, means newspaper, otherwise radio or television, to is a readers or a viewers or a listeners. Another character is periodicity is maintained in mass communication. What is periodicity here? For example, newspapers. Newspapers, what kind of newspapers is there? Anyone? Daily newspapers, weekly newspapers, fortnightly newspapers, monthly newspapers, bi-monthly newspapers, bi-yearly newspapers. These are the kinds of newspapers. Though there is each one as a periodicity. Daily means we are seeing the Hindu, Times of India, New Indian Express, Eenadu, Sakshi, Andhra Jyoti, Namaste Telangana. These are the daily newspapers. The periodicity is here single day. For coming to the weekly newspaper, the week, Times, India Today, Navya, like this. For example, all these are the examples. These are the weekly newspapers, fortnightly newspapers, and monthly newspapers, and some bi-monthly. Generally, bi-monthly, otherwise 6 months in a bi-yearly. These are mainly focused on an organizational orientation. Means a company who prints their news by monthly, otherwise twice in a year. So generally comes a newspaper, daily newspapers and weekly newspapers are familiar in the print media. And coming to the radio, we know in AI Akashvani, the news comes in a periodicity, like morning 7 o'clock, afternoon 1 o'clock, again evening 7 o'clock. The same kind of timings maintains in the television also. For example, now we are seeing 24 hours television channels, news channels, even though all those are exactly as a news bulletin. Sometimes they use the feature articles, sometimes they broadcast some entertainment programs. Okay? Periodicity is another character in the mass communication. Another one is the message is processed, standardized, and in some cases multiplied. For example, a message comes in the standard newspaper. All the readers believes it. That is a true incident. For example, a message circulating in WhatsApp that has no credibility. We could not believe whether it is happened or not. That is the difference here. So main stream all media members to cross-check the message and then only they publish in their newspapers or their broadcast in the televisions. Compare with what messages we are receiving in the social media nowadays. Social media means WhatsApp, maybe Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is. Any doubts? Advertising is one kind of message delivered only. It's a part. It's not exactly part of communication. It is paying some amount to buy space in the newspaper or a time slot in the radio, otherwise the television channels. That is one kind of communication only, but not comes under the main communication part of mass communication. Next year, mass communication, just we are here seeing which type of mass communication is first evaluated in this world. First is a print media, then after radio. Print media around the 1916 and 16th century, and radio in the end of the 18th century. Next, television in the year of 1920s. Then after, computers. These are the new media. Computers elevated in the years of 1950s, and mobile phones in the 1990s and 2000. And particularly present day of mobile phones means with the all apps, social media, we are seeing from the since 2010. Okay. Advantages of mass communication are reaches a large number of people at a time. Mass communication disseminates messages rapidly. These are the two major advantages. There is a more advantages, a number of advantages for the mass communication in the same time. There is also limitations. What is we are discussed in the limitations in other three types of communication. Those are the advantages in this communication, this mass communication. Okay. Next, discuss about the limitations. Feedback is delayed or inferential in mass communication, and only few people in the society rich, educated, and influential get opportunity to communicate through mass media. We experienced this one. For example, feedback in the newspaper, that is a one-way communication. In radio, that is also one-way communication. In television, that is also one-way communication, but some programs, maybe like teleconferences or phone-in programs, there the viewer also discuss with live shows like phone-in programs like that. There is at the same time feedback also received by the sender. The next point is here, a few people, already we know it only see in the newspaper, if an ordinary person who fall down when he is entering into the some meeting bus, for example, that is not covered in any newspaper. For example, a politician or a position person who is like a chief minister, otherwise a minister, MLAs, MPs, if they may fall down by from the bus, it is a news. So this is here a few people influence mass communication. So this lesson is a simple, and there is a four types of communication. Each of the what are the characteristics, limitation, and the advantages we have discussed. Any doubts you have, we'll go to the next lesson. Short lesson, we have time, more 15-20 minutes time, we'll discuss about the models of communication. This is a simple, only 4 primarily models we have given in the unit number 3. Limitations is just for limit to some persons or public. Maybe it is depends on the receivers. It is depends on the receivers. Okay, go to the, I'm going to the next unit, models of communication. There is a 4 primarily and most important models. Number 1 is a SMCR model. Another one is a Shannon and Weaver model. Third one is Laswell model, and the 4th one is a Osgood and Scram model. We will discuss these 4 models in the unit number 3. Again, I will share the screen. Is it clear? Screen is appearing. Screen and voice, everything is good. Response from the students. Okay. Right. What is model? Model is some example. How to we have to behave here. Model is a graphic representation of a reality. Or is a good model comes as close to reality. Means what we have to do, how to we have behavior with others. We have some models. We have follows some elders how to behave with others. In the same way, there is a models in the communication also. It explains the reality as clearly as possible. The meaning is very clear here. Next, we'll go to the SMCR model. SMCR model is proposed by Berlos in 1934. So this is a first kind of a model of a communication process. The communication process comprises a sender or a communicator who has a message that he or she transmits or conveys through some means, say a channel or a newspaper like, to a receiver who responds according to his or her understanding of the message to the sender. Here is not discussed the feedback, just only message to, in this below what is proposed, only message to receiver only. There is no feedback in Berlow's model. Just what is sender? Sender is the communication skills, attitude, knowledge, social system, culture. All this comes under the sender. So attitude, gesture something, means it's attitude. He's sharing some knowledge to receiver. He's saying something about in his social and cultural messages to other person, means receiver. Next one is a message. Message is a content. Message is a element, which has something to know the receiver. Treatment, structure, or a codes, sending some code to the receiver is receiving the message. Hearing, we are discussed in earlier unit about 5 senses. These are the 5 senses like hearing, seeing, touching, tasting, feeling. These are the 5 senses. Okay. How we are here required a channel. Here is a channel means, for example, radio is an instrument. We are hear the message through radio instrument. Seeing, we see in the television. Touching means comes the not a mass communication. This is a means interpersonal communication. We where is cold or he slapped another person with touch. That is also communication only. Tasting means something we are experiencing. Feeling also like experience. This is a quality, psychological quality of channels. Here is a channel means when he was prepared this model, there is a these many kind of media channels or a media communication instruments are not available when he was proposing this channel. Just when he was in 1930s, there is only newspaper and television and radio only appeared. Channel means an instrument, either a newspaper or a radio or a television or a new media instrument devices like computers and mobile phones, smartphones like this. Next, receiver. What he receives after what happens, he gets some communication skills. He also acts some attitude. So, for example, a mother gives some message to a child. Means don't behave like this. How to speak with others. Then after receive messages from the mother, the child acts accordingly the instructions given by her mother. Okay, knowledge, the receiver gets some knowledge and social system culture, how to be in this society. All this, the message orientation means psychological items are explained in the SMCR model. SMCR model is proposed by the Berlow. Okay. Next, another model is we will discuss here again. Criticism also is there in the Berlow's model. Berlow's model follows the SMCR model. This model is not specific to any particular communication. So that is why we are discussed no clarity. But the other models, yes, students are the receivers only. Okay, there is a lack of feedback. The effects are practically unknown. It does not mention the barriers to communication. There is no room for noise. See, I am speaking with you. I am delivering my message, my lecture in this classroom. There is some disturbances. Means maybe my mic is a disturbance. Otherwise, room echo is also a disturbance. That is an instrumental disturbances. That is called noise. Is not mentioned in SMCR model. Another criticism is it is a rather complex model. It is some critical to understand. Either he is saying some about the psychological orientation, and he is saying about the mass communication orientation. The text means his model is clear, but not particularly to one communication. So that these are some criticism on Berlow's SMCR model. Next one is a Shannon and Weaver model. The information model designed by Claude E. Shannon and Warren Weaver. These two persons are here prepared this model. They emphasize that the word information in this theory is used in a special sense and that it must not be confused with meaning of a information referred to any bit of data. So here is one image is appearing. Already you saw this image in earlier unit also. One person who is speaking over a loudspeaker to other. the message is clear, meaning what he have to say something, maybe it is an announcement about the any any program, the receiver also receiving the message. Here is the message is clear. Or another photo, computer, they are exchanging emails, messages is clear. And another one is chatting each other in a live face to face, the message is clear. So Shannon Weaver model is a mathematical theory of communication. Like mathematical 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. So output is clearly what is happens. So Shannon and Weaver model is also called mathematical theory of communication. It is this model was framed in 1949. See, earlier model, SMCR model, there is a no noise, but in Shannon and Weaver model, they are indicated one element, that is noise. And technological problems also appears when the message to reach the receiver. Here is one image showing the Shannon and Weaver model. Is it clear to you? SMS speaking, reply. Yes. Information source, that is the information source to message to transmitter, means transmitter to signal. While signaling, there is a noise, and receive the signal, again message, and it is reaching to the destination. Here he is saying about the technological kind of communication. For example, for this, we see radio communication and television communication. Radios, how the voice who are speaking in the radio station to reach to the listeners, there is a technological instruments. The message means the voice codes into the otherwise in a signal format, signal codes that's reached to the antenna, otherwise transmitter. Then it goes to the antenna, and after receiver that antenna, the instrument means the radio is the instrument. Radio receives the signals. So here is the Shannon and Weaver model is mainly on the technological orientation. Earlier SMCR model is a psychological orientation, right? Just these models just gives you some knowledge about the SMCR, sender, messenger, and receiver. How the message. Only 4 items you have to remember: sender, message, channel, receiver, and receiver 2 again feedback. Okay, we'll check. I will send you. No problem. Right. Next one is Laswell model. Laswell model is this is a pure communication kind of model. Here is Professor Harold D. Laswell in 1948 made this model. What is this model? The message of this model is who says what, in which channel, to whom, and with what effect. For example, a message which is published in the newspaper, it is reached to the villager, means a illiterate person. There is a no effect because the illiterate person could not read the newspaper. So message is not receiving to that person. Who refers to the communicator says what to the message, in what channel, to the medium of communication. to whom? To the receiver, and with what effect? To the feedback from the receiver. Someone asked about the advertising in this lesson only, where advertisement, it could not reach the target audience. It is not useful for the organization. For example, a costly Rolex or a type Rolex watch which cost about the 20 lakhs or 30 lakhs, maybe 1 crore. If the Rolex watch ad comes in a published in a small newspaper of a district level, it may not useful for the organization and may not useful for the reader. So what is Laswell saying? You just check, is the message reaching to your target audience or not? Okay. Who means here as a sender, says what, means what message is saying and what channel is using. Channel means here is a not a our 24 hours news channel. Channels means radio and newspaper also one kind of channel only. Means instrument. To whom? Here is a receiver. Receiver means readers, viewers, listeners, like this. With what effect? Whether that message affects means some influence, takes an influence in the target audience, target readers, target listeners, viewers, like. Next one is Osgood and Scram model. Maybe Laswell communication is also clear, I think so. Message at least start from the students. Only you have to remember these 5 words in the I have mentioned in the screen share. This is the Laswell's model. Next one is the Osgood and Scram model. Because we have 12 lessons in this chapter, in this subject, and we have to cover in six sessions only. Already this is the second session, so that is why I'm going to the a little fast, because the models is the 4 models only. Each models we have to remember 4 or 5 important words in that model. Easily we will remember, we will get some knowledge about the models. Very clearly I mentioned in the PowerPoint presentation screenshots. Few words, with a few words I have given, and focusing on the main rememberable words. Okay, am I clear now? Yes. Shortly we will conclude this session also. The last one is a Osgood Scram model, which is prepared in 1954 by Wilbur Scram and C.E. Osgood. Okay, first one Wilbur Scram is presented and Osgood is originated, means he developed some more, he has given some more inputs in this model. So that is why we call it as a Osgood and Scram model. Okay, Shannon and Weber make a distinction between source and transmitter, and between receiver and destination. In other words, 2 functions are fulfilled at the transmitting end. There is an image which gives you clear identification. Here is a encoder. In the image, encoder, interpreter, decoder. It's a circular model. I will give you. It is a 1930s, 1934 SFCR. Okay, I have to check it. Okay. Next here is a Osgood and Scram model. Encoder means sender, giving some message to decoder. It is a circular model, means Sender is sending a message. Decoder means receiver is decoding, and he is also thinking something. Again, he is also encoding, and he is also giving some message to this sender. Means here is a circular model, and it is a feedback, also getting feedback immediately. This model is prepared by Osgood and Spam. Once again, see the message. Any doubts in the message? Any more doubts? We are going to conclude this session. Any more doubts, please? Only messages only from you. No one speaks with me. No one is responding. Yes. I have to know the feedback. Then only they complete circular model. Okay. Video audio conversion with encoder and decoder. Okay, this is already it is practicing in a radio and video channels and digital procedure. Right.
Sir,
I'm going to stop the session. I will just once you check the message in the chart book, chart room.
sir, can you share the last class? I was asking for last class.
Not exactly the interpreter means not a disturbance. May of course in the communication model it is called a noise, means barrier only, but exactly we don't say barrier. Sometimes it is required. Sometimes it is a, we call it as a feedback. I have sent a message in the chat room. Once you check it, only chatting is here. No one is responding. Feedback from charts only. I have prepared PPTs of these lessons already in the unit one also. Last session I have discussed in the classroom about the unit one, and today unit number 2 and unit number 3 also. I have these PowerPoint presentation files with me. I will share you. I will share you later. How to share? I will tell you. I will share you. Don't worry. Sai Kiran, where are you from? Which center? SP College, okay. Right. Vijaya from which center? Lakshmi.
Lakshmi from Kairata also.
Okay, I'm concluding this session right now. We'll meet again in the next session, next Sunday at 10:30 a.m.